In the ancient land of Canaan, Jacob lived with his large family. His camp was filled with tents, shepherds, servants, and countless flocks of sheep and goats. Although God had blessed Jacob in many ways, his home was also filled with pain, rivalry, and unanswered prayers. Rachel deeply loved Jacob, but she had no children. Every day she watched her sister Leah raising sons while her own arms remained empty. Her sorrow became so great that she cried to Jacob, "Give me children or else I die." But Jacob answered, "Am I in the place of God who has kept you from having children? Only God has the power to give life." In her desperation, Rachel gave her servant Bilhah to Jacob according to the custom of that time. Bilhah became Jacob's wife and gave birth to a son. Rachel named him Dan, believing that God had heard her cry. Later Bilhah gave birth to another son, whom Rachel named Naphtali, saying she had struggled greatly. When Leah saw what Rachel had done, she also gave her servant Zilpah to Jacob. Zilpah gave birth to two sons, Gad and Asher. The rivalry between the two sisters continued as each desired God's blessing and Jacob's affection. As the years passed, Jacob's camp became filled with children. Laughter echoed through the tents as sons played together and families grew. Leah later gave birth to Issachar, then Zebulun, and afterward a daughter named Dinah. Yet Rachel continued to wait, hoping that one day God would remember her. Then the day finally came. The Bible says that God remembered Rachel. He listened to her prayers and opened her womb. Rachel gave birth to a beautiful son and named him Joseph. Her tears of sorrow were turned into tears of joy because God's timing is always perfect. After Joseph was born, Jacob knew it was time to return to his own homeland. He went to his uncle Laban and respectfully asked for permission to leave with his wives, children, and everything he had worked so hard to earn. Laban did not want Jacob to leave because he knew that God had blessed everything he owned through Jacob's faithful service. So he asked Jacob to stay and promised to pay him whatever wages he desired. Jacob suggested a simple agreement. He would receive only the spotted, speckled, and dark-colored animals from the flocks as his wages, while the rest would belong to Laban. Laban quickly agreed, but secretly removed many of those animals, hoping Jacob would receive almost nothing. Jacob faithfully continued caring for the remaining flocks. Day after day he led them to fresh pasture and watering places, trusting that God would provide for him despite Laban's dishonesty. Although Laban tried to cheat Jacob, God was working behind the scenes. The flocks continued producing healthy spotted and speckled animals, exactly as Jacob had requested. God's blessing could not be stopped by human deception. As time passed, Jacob's flocks became larger, healthier, and stronger. His wealth increased beyond anything Laban expected. Everyone could see that the Lord's favor rested upon Jacob, proving that no one can stop the blessing God has prepared for his people. The story of Genesis chapter 30 reminds us that God's delays are not his denials. Rachel waited, but God remembered her. Jacob was treated unfairly, but God prospered him anyway. When God decides to bless your life, jealousy cannot stop it, delay cannot cancel it, and deception cannot steal it. Trust his timing, remain faithful, and believe that what God has promised, he will surely bring to pass.
If you like this video, please subscribe, like, and drop your comments.